Donnie, good morning.
Hey.
Oh my gosh, this is surreal. Oh my God. It is taking every ounce of self-control I possess right now not to freak out. And I'm sure you hear this a lot, but you know, for myself, who is a young girl who was absolutely obsessed, if you had told me at 8, 9, 10 years old that someday,
yes,
when I was older, I was going to get to talk to Donnie Wahlberg on the phone, I would have spontaneously combusted. And I feel like I'm 9 years old again. I really do.
Donnie, does this never get old for you, man?
No, you know what? It really doesn't, because I just can't believe it. If I was 8 years old or 9 years old and I was thinking, what type of people will want to talk to me on the phone when I'm an adult, I'd probably think I'd be on the payphone making my calls from prison or something like that. Like, you know, it's like, I mean, that's what people did where I come from. You know, you grow up, you become, you know, like a janitor, or you go to jail, you know. I'm very appreciative of any fan that I have, you know, and any fan of the group, you know, I'm a fan of theirs, because, you know, this is something that I could never even, it's crazy.
I don't want to scare you, but I used to have this massive Donnie Wahlberg button, and it was a big old circle, and you could wear it as a button on your shirt, or you could prop it up as almost like a picture on your nightstand. So I wore you every day, and you slept beside me every night.
That's
weird.
I'm blushing.
I know.
We're talking to, if you missed it, the one and only Donnie Wahlberg from the New Kids on the Block inside the morning paper on KHOP. What about you, man? When you were growing up, who was that person that you idolized, that you looked up to?
My earliest, it's amazing, because I grew up in Boston during the whole busing crisis, when they were busing, you know, black kids into white neighborhoods and white kids into black neighborhoods. It was forced busing, and there was a lot of racial turbulence and stuff, but it was actually a real blessing for me, because, you know, I was at home, I was listening to Led Zeppelin and you know, rock and roll music, great rock and roll music. And in school, by going to school in a predominantly black area, I was exposed to all different music. I was listening to the first rap records to ever come out. I was listening to Parliament Funkadelic and all this incredible stuff. So I think really the group that really first sort of I became really, really blown away by was Run DMC. They had a song, Rockbox, came out, which was their first rock collaboration, like, with rap. I mean, that song just, to me, that spoke to my whole life, you know, because that's what my life was. It was rap and urban music in school and with my friends, and it was heavy metal and rock music at home. So it was really the perfect record for me. So Run DMC, I think, were probably the real influences. When I heard their record, I said, okay, that spoke to me. You know, I actually started to, like, perform. I would do, like, lip sync contests and rap contests and stuff, you know, performing as Run DMC and stuff like that. So I'd say they were definitely one of the first.
How you doing?
I'm breathing. I feel so dorky.
We've got Donnie Wahlberg inside the morning paper on KHOP at 95.1. The big reunion is upon us, and more with Donnie next on KHOP. Step by step. All right, back inside your morning paper on KHOP at 95.1, the pop music channel. It's Jack and Reagan, special guest from the New Kids on the Block. Donnie Wahlberg's with us.
And I heard a rumor, and I'm pretty sure you're going to say no, but is there any truth to the Johnny Drama character on Entourage being based on you?
Now, see, this is making me question just how much of a fan you are.
Well, see, I know you vehemently deny it, and I would never believe that you were like Johnny Drama.
It's just, if you know my history, then you know Mark was part of my entourage, and I was never part of his. So Johnny Drama could never be based on me.
That is fantastic. How far are you and your brother apart?
2 years. I'm 2 years older.
So when you guys were growing up together, you guys were both immersed in that whole music scene together, right?
And the funny thing is, Mark could have been in the New Kids on the Block, you know, but he didn't want to really be involved in the music scene at all. He was out running around with his friends and stealing cars and playing basketball and stuff like that. So, you know, for me, it's stealing cars and playing basketball. That's kind of how it goes in Dorchester. It's like it's that casual. But, you know, he really didn't want to be a part of it. And as I started to become successful with the group, you know, we were criticized for not having any talent. And I sort of went on a mission to start making records on my own to show that, you know, that we were talented. And the first record that I made was for my brother Mark. You know, I asked him if he wanted to make a record. He said, yeah. And I wanted to do something to prove that, you know, I could do this on my own, and B, get him off the streets, and that's how the whole Marky Mark thing was born.
From the New Kids on the Block, we've got Donnie Wahlberg inside the morning paper on KHOP at 95.1. It's Jack and Reagan.
And before we jump into all the New Kids reunion stuff, we got a movie coming out in September, Righteous Kill, with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro.
Wow.
What's that all about?
It's crazy. I think that was the send-off. I think, I've done a lot of movies. I've done some very successful movies and miniseries and TV shows, and had a pretty good run. I mean, it's been, my acting career has actually been, a real blessing, because I was able to continue to do stuff that I love, but it wasn't as much hysteria and craziness. I was able to sort of revisit a lot of these cities that I went to on tour, but I got to revisit them with no hysteria, and I got to walk the streets and meet people and sort of, learn about different places and stuff like that. But this movie was really I think it was the feather in the cap for me. I got to work with two of the greatest actors of all time, in De Niro and Pacino, and I worked with them a lot in the movie. I got a great part in the movie. I also worked with actor John Leguizamo, who's a good friend of mine, and 50 Cent, who was just incredible to work with, a great guy. And to do that movie while I was just starting to get the group back together, I think it really felt like, okay, I've kind of reached a sort of pinnacle in my acting career. I can take a little break now, go do this music, and I'll come back to acting later.
Well, you mentioned the hysteria. It's definitely back.
Oh, gosh.
We're going to talk about all the reunion stuff more with Donnie Wahlberg from the New Kids on the Block coming up next inside your morning paper on KHOP. All right, back inside your morning paper on KHOP at 95.1, the pop music channel. Reagan can hardly contain herself.
I I'm seriously just want to scream, I love you, I love you, I love you. Donnie, please marry me. Like I'm a child again. It's the weirdest feeling that just kind of overwhelms and takes over.
Donnie, you have that type of power, my brother.
Gosh.
You know what? It's a power that I will not abuse. I will not abuse. I don't know if I'll marry you, but maybe we can have dinner when I come in.
Shut up!
You did not just say that.
You
Hold
can't
on, Donnie.
say that if you don't mean it.
Well, I said it.
Donnie from the New Kids on the Block. Would you like to comment on that comment, Donnie?
Yeah, we can have dinner. I'd love to.
Tell your wife I will be super respectful and I will act like a sane, normal human being.
All right. Well, okay. My wife's living in a different house than me right now, so she may not be that mad at me.
No kidding.
So, we can have dinner.
All right, the big reunion. By the way, he said dinner with you.
I
Rick.
know.
I'm
I'm putting it on my calendar.
Here we go. I want to know what new kid was responsible for literally putting a smile on I don't know how many millions of people's faces when you guys actually made this legit and came back together. Who initiated the whole thing?
I don't know if it was one person. I mean, everybody sort of played a different role. I mean, I've definitely been more on top of the creative end of it and a lot of the business stuff. But, Joe Mack started approaching me about 2.5 years ago, but that was sort of to go on tour. And I said, I don't really want to go on tour without doing a record. So, no, I'm not going to do that. But I found a song. This kid from Canada who grew up being a fan of the group, this guy, his name is Nasri. He wrote this song, and somehow the song found its way to me. And on my last birthday, last August, I got this envelope, and I decided to play this demo of this kid, and which really, I'm surprised I played it because, I wasn't really thinking about making a record at the time. And I heard this song, and I just said, wow, this song is amazing. And I said, you know what? I know the other guys are going to love this song. And for me, I always knew if I was ever going to do it, it would come from music first, not from trying to get money first. I didn't want to just say, okay, let's go out and get all the money and do one more roundup tour. To me, it was always like, let's make a great album. If we can make a great album that the fans could feel good about, that we could feel good about, and then go on tour, okay, I would do that, because then it's not selfish. It's about, it's about doing something, for the right reasons. It's about being artists and being creative. Then I would do it. And we found this record, and it really lit a fire under everyone, and we haven't stopped recording since. And it's just been great. And I don't want to scare anybody off when I say, we want to do new music and stuff like that. It doesn't mean we're not going to do the old stuff at the concerts. We're going to do all the old stuff. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun, but we do want to do, rather than just make it a trip down memory lane, we want everyone to be excited to go out to our show, to feel good about what they're getting into, and to sort of reward the fans for all their years of loyalty. Say, hey, we still got it. You can still enjoy it, and let's have a good time.
You're listening to Donnie Wahlberg inside the morning paper on KHOP at 95.1. It's Jack and Reagan, and more on the big reunion next on KHOP. All right, back inside your morning paper on KHOP at 95.1, the pop music channel. It's Jack and Reagan. If you're just joining us, we've got Donnie Wahlberg.
I know there have been a couple of attempts at reuniting in the past. Back in 99, Jonathan wasn't on board, but everybody else was. Why? Do you know why he didn't want to do it?
It actually wasn't Jonathan.
Oh.
I'll give you some behind-the-scenes information on that. I didn't want to do it.
Really?
Really?
I didn't want to do it, and there's very specific reasons why I didn't want to do it. And that's because MTV are the ones that said Jonathan didn't want to do it. But I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to do it under their terms. You know, I didn't want to put the group back together because MTV wanted to put the group back together. I mean, it just didn't make sense to me. Like, why would we just go out on an award show and say, okay, hey, we're back together for their reasons? It wasn't for our reasons. You know, it was always going to be this. If the fans demanded it, or we felt like it was time to do something creatively together, then that would be the reasons to do it. Other than that, it didn't matter if it was MTV or Lou Pearlman, the guy who used to manage Backstreet Boys, and then he tried to get us back together, or if it was Sony Records or this record company. It didn't matter. We were going to do it when we felt ready or when the fans really demanded it. And ironically, it sort of happened one and the same. When we started to feel ready to do it again, you know, the fans started catching rumors about it, and our website got like 1 million hits in a week, and it just sort of all fell into place. It's been a very natural thing between the public and us, and that's what really makes it feel right. It's not on somebody else's terms. It's because the fans are ready for it and we're ready for it.
2 more questions with Donnie from the New Kids on the Block inside your morning paper on KHOP. Second to last question, Donnie. You guys have announced a bunch of reunion tour dates. You have crazy fans. Reagan is proof here in Northern California. We don't see any NorCal dates yet. Are they going to be posted eventually?
Yeah, we're starting on the East Coast, and I think by the time we perform, we're going to perform on the Today Show on the 16th. I think by the time we get there, we will have rolled out probably maybe 25 more dates, which will include the West Coast, and we're looking towards getting up to NorCal, so don't worry.
All right, Summertime is the first single. We love it. We're playing it. Click, click, click. You can hear on nkotb.com. What's your favorite song off the new album?
I don't know. I mean, right now we got about 20 songs. We're probably going to cut the list down to about 14 for the album, and really, I guess it's got to be Summertime right now, but I have some other favorites. Click, click, click is certainly, click, click, click is the song that really got the group sort of back together.
It's a really catchy song, too.
Yeah, it's a hot song. I mean, I heard it, and I would drive up to, like, women in the streets in my car and roll the window down and say, do you like this song? And they would hear it. They thought I was crazy. But they all said the same thing. They said, that song's sexy. And I was like, wow, that's what I think. And, you know, hey. But the album is very good, and the fact that I can't choose a favorite song from it, I think, is a good thing.
Well, we're playing the heck out of Summertime. We're getting ready to play it right now. Really quick before you go, it's time to ask the big question. If you can make a girl's dream come true, we already potentially might have dinner, which, my goodness, is going to be amazing. But, Donnie, on your way out, I know you got a ton of interviews today. If I was to just happen to give you my partner's cell phone number, would you call and just leave any sort of voicemail on it?
I can do that, but you can't leave that message on the air.
Will you save it?
I promise.
Is that a promise to Donnie?
I promise. I give you my word. It's being recorded. You can star 67 the phone call, so block number, whatever.
Whoa.
But just so I will have for the rest of my life. This would make my childhood dreams come true.
Well, I'm going to have to do it because we already got to work this dinner out. So I think it's going to have to happen. Yeah. So you better give me the number and let's make it work.
Donnie, you are the best, man.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you up there. Tell all the fans we're coming. We'll get up there.
Hey, man, we can't wait to see you in Northern California. And here's the new song. Good to have the New Kids on the Block back. This is Summertime on KHOP. Thank you, Donnie.
Thanks. I'll call in an hour.
Sounds
all
good.
All right, 1 hour. I'll be waiting.
Okay. Okay, bye.